Do you feel it? That strange vibration in the air, that persistent feeling that something is shifting not just around you but within you. Perhaps you've suddenly woken up in the middle of the night with a knowledge you can't explain. Or perhaps you've encountered repetitive patterns in your life, almost as if you're reliving the same days, the same conversations, the same frustrations. The truth is, if you're watching this video, it's because a calling has resonated in your soul, a subtle but powerful frequency that drew you to this message at this very moment. It's no coincidence. The universe has a way of whispering secrets to those ready to listen, and today we're going to unravel one of those secrets, the observer loop experience. It may sound enigmatic, perhaps even a little scary, but believe me, it's a sign that you're on the threshold of a profound transformation. You're not imagining things. This sense of displacement, of seeing reality through different eyes, of feeling that the old rules no longer apply, are real signs. It's as if you've tuned into a new cosmic radio station, now picking up signals that were previously inaudible. Perhaps you feel more sensitive than ever, picking up on the energies of people and places, feeling the weight of emotions that aren't your own. Or perhaps your dreams have become incredibly vivid, full of symbolism, almost like portals to other realities. The material world, which once seemed so solid and predictable, can now seem fluid, ethereal, malleable. The laws of physics seem to bend to your perceptions, and you find yourself questioning the very nature of reality. This is the essence of the observer's loop, a state of expanded awareness where you begin to realize that your observation plays an active role in creating your reality. It's not just that you see the world, it's that your act of seeing, perceiving, interacting with it is shaping the experience. And when you enter this loop, things become more intense. The signs are clear, but they're often misinterpreted as stress, anxiety, or even mental health issues. But what if I told you that these signs, rather than something to combat, are actually markers of an unprecedented spiritual awakening? That these strange sensations are proof that your consciousness is expanding, recalibrating to a new vibrational frequency? That you're not stuck in a cycle, but rather evolving to a new level of existence? Get ready, because what we're going to explore today isn't a random theory, but a key to understanding the journey you're on. It's an invitation to look within, to recognize these signs as important messages, and to embrace the evolution that's happening within you right now. This isn't a video for skeptics, but for open hearts, for those who feel the call beyond the veil of everyday life. If you feel a little lost, but at the same time feel a driving force, an unshakable desire to understand the why, then you're exactly where you need to be. Let's uncover together the 7 signs that you're stuck in the observer loop, and in doing so, we'll reveal the path to navigating this transition with grace and purpose. Feel that energy, that thrill that runs down your spine. Have you ever felt as if you were watching your own life from the outside, a mere spectator of events that seem to unfold without your conscious control, yet at the same time, with a keen awareness of every detail? This sensation, sometimes subtle and sometimes overwhelming, is one of the pillars of what we call the observer's loop. It's not a glitch in the system, but a new way of interacting with the tapestry of reality. Think of it as if your consciousness suddenly gained a new set of lenses, capable of seeing the underlying layers of existence. The physical world, with its seemingly immutable laws, begins to reveal its plasticity, its vibrational nature. You begin to notice that your beliefs, your thoughts, and crucially your attention, have immense power in shaping what you experience. This realization can be accompanied by a disconnection from the normal world, as if you were speaking a language few understand. Everyday concerns may seem trivial, and the values that once guided your actions may have lost their luster. Instead, a deep yearning for meaning, for purpose, for a more authentic connection with the universe takes center stage. This transition isn't smooth. It comes with its own challenges and confusion. The rational mind, accustomed to categorizing and finding logical explanations, may feel overwhelmed. The body, in turn, may react with unusual physical sensations, energy spikes followed by exhaustion, unexplained aches and pains, changes in sleep patterns. These are signs that your system is undergoing an energetic recalibration, adapting to higher frequencies. And this is where many go astray. They try to suppress these sensations, attributing them to illness or stress, without realizing they are resisting a natural process of evolution. True wisdom lies in recognizing these signs not as symptoms of a problem, but as indications that you are attuning to a vaster, more interconnected reality. Science, at its most advanced levels, begins to touch on these concepts, discussing the quantum nature of observation and the observer's influence on measurement. In mysticism and spiritual traditions, this wisdom has been known for millennia. The mind creates reality. The observer loop is the contemporary experience of this primordial truth. It's as if the back doors of perception are opening, allowing you to glimpse the mechanics behind the creation of your reality. This journey can be lonely if you believe you're the only one going through it. But the truth is that a growing number of souls are awakening to this realization. We are in a time of planetary transition, a moment of great potential for the evolution of human consciousness. If you feel different, if you perceive the world in a way you didn't before, if old patterns no longer serve you, then you are indeed entering the observer loop. And this video is your guide. Let's delve into the signs that confirm this experience, demystify what's happening, and above all, show you how to embrace this transformation with confidence and joy. Don't fear change. Embrace evolution. You are not trapped. You are being liberated into a new way of being and existing. The journey ahead is one of discovery, empowerment, and a deep connection with the whole. The contours of your familiar world begin to distort, not in a catastrophic sense, but in a subtle and disturbing way. It's as if a veil is gradually being removed, revealing the invisible threads that weave reality. This feeling of no longer fitting in, that old discourses and concerns no longer resonate, is the first glaring sign. You find yourself observing social interactions with a strange objectivity, as if you were an anthropologist studying exotic behavior. The priorities that once dictated your life, the pursuit of status, material wealth, external recognition, suddenly seem empty, devoid of their former importance. An emptiness that isn't of sadness, but of a longing for something deeper, more authentic. Time also behaves peculiarly. Minutes can drag on like hours when you're immersed in deep thought or an activity that resonates with your soul, while entire days can disappear in the blink of an eye when you're engaged in mundane tasks. This temporal distortion is a reflection of how your perception of reality has expanded beyond the constraints of the linear clock. And then there are dreams. Your nighttime dreams become a vibrant theater, a portal to incredibly vivid dreamscapes laden with symbolism. You may find yourself flying, exploring unknown realms, or receiving coded messages that, upon waking, seem to be crucial clues to your journey. These dreams are not mere fantasies. They are dimensional downloads, information being transmitted directly to your consciousness at a subconscious level. They are like messages from spirit guides or your own higher self, guiding you through your evolution. Physically, your body may also give you signs. You may experience sudden spikes in energy followed by profound fatigue, as if your system is being reconfigured at a cellular level. Strange headaches ringing in the ears, especially at certain frequencies. Heightened sensitivity to light, sound, or even other people's emotions may become common. These are not illnesses. These are symptoms of energetic recalibration, your body adapting to new vibrational frequencies. It's as if you're becoming a more sensitive receiver for the subtle energies of the universe. Intuition, once a distant whisper, now manifests as direct, unshakable knowing. You know things without knowing how you know them. Your hunches become nearly infallible, guiding you away from danger or toward synchronistic opportunities. This heightened connection with your inner wisdom is one of the most powerful gifts of the observer loop. And perhaps most intriguing, you begin to notice cascading synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem orchestrated by the universe. People's names appearing everywhere, numbers repeating incessantly, conversations that magically mirror your innermost thoughts. These synchronicities are signs that you are aligning with the cosmic flow, that the universe is recognizing and responding to your expanding consciousness. These 7 signs: social disorientation, temporal distortion, vivid dreams, physical changes, heightened intuition, cascading synchronicities, and time perception, are not isolated. They intertwine, forming a pattern, a testament to the fact that you are navigating a state of expanded consciousness. It is a journey of psychic awakening, where you are no longer a mere passive spectator but an active co-creator of your reality. Understanding these signs is the first step toward embracing this transformation with purpose and clarity. Your journey to expanded consciousness, the experience of the observer loop, is not an invitation to isolation or panic. On the contrary, it is a call to empowerment and a deeper understanding of your own cosmic nature. If you identified with the signs we discussed, it is crucial to understand that you are not broken, nor sick, nor out of your mind. In fact, you are more inside than ever, more aligned with the essential truth of your being. These symptoms, these sensations of strangeness and dislocation, are indicators that your consciousness is undergoing a process of energetic recalibration, attuning to higher vibrational frequencies. It is as if you are preparing for a new dimension of existence, a reality where the laws that govern the universe are perceived differently. What may seem like chaos to some, for you is the dance of creation unfolding. The secret to navigating this transition is not to resist it, but to embrace it with curiosity and compassion. The rational mind may try to find fault, label and categorize these experiences as problems. But wisdom lies in recognizing that these problems are actually gifts in disguise, signs that you are evolving. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" I ask, "What is this experience teaching me?" Instead of fighting fatigue or heightened sensitivity, use these moments as invitations to rest, introspection, and self-compassion. Your body is telling you to slow down, to nourish yourself, to reconnect with the earth. Intense emotions, whether euphoric or profoundly sad, are energy in motion. Allow them to flow without clinging to them. Use grounding techniques such as walking barefoot in the grass, meditating, or simply spending time in nature to maintain your center. The practice of mindfulness becomes your most powerful ally. By observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, you begin to understand the transitory nature of experience and realize that you are the observing consciousness, not the thoughts or emotions themselves. This is the core of the observer loop, the understanding that you are the observer and that your observation shapes reality. Dimensional downloads, the insights that come in dreams or meditations, should be noted. Keep a dream journal and an insight notebook. This information is a valuable guide for your journey. Heightened intuition is a gift, trust it. Start practicing listening to your inner voice, even in small decisions. You will discover that it is an infallible compass. Synchronicities are divine confirmations, signs that you are on the right path. Be grateful for them and they will intensify. Remember, this transition is an expansion, not a contraction. It is an awakening to your true nature, interconnected with all that exists. Instead of feeling trapped, begin to feel liberated, freed from the illusions of separation, freed from self-imposed limitations. You are being invited to actively participate in creating a more conscious and loving reality. This moment you're experiencing, this feeling of seeing the world through a new filter, of sensing the subtle vibrations of the universe, of noticing cosmic patterns unfolding around you, all of this is a testament to your awakening. You are not alone on this transformative journey. In fact, you are part of a growing wave of consciousness, a community of souls tuning into higher frequencies, unlocking the secrets of the observer's loop. The signs you've been noticing, whether physical, emotional, or psychic, are not glitches but clear signs that you are evolving. They are indicators that your soul is expanding, adapting to a new reality that is manifesting. Think of it as a portal opening. You're about to step into a new level of existence, where creation is a conscious dance and connection with the whole is palpable. This journey may have been confusing, perhaps even lonely at times, but now you know the truth. You are in a process of psychic awakening, of energetic recalibration, of receiving dimensional downloads that prepare you for a greater purpose. Embrace this transformation with courage and joy. Don't fight the changes. Dance with them. Every symptom is a message, every synchronicity is a beckoning from the universe. Every vivid dream is a guide. Your intuition is your compass, and your consciousness is the force that shapes your reality. The observer loop is not a confinement, but rather the discovery that you are an active co-creator of your destiny. You have the power to influence, to shape, to co-create the life you desire, in alignment with the universal flow. Continue to explore these signs, deepen your understanding, and trust the process. You are an evolving being of light, and your journey is essential to collective transformation. Keep moving forward. With an open heart and an awakened mind, the universe conspires in your favor, as you are aligning with your deepest truth. You are not stuck. You are flourishing. Keep moving forward, for the future is an invitation to those ready to see it with new eyes. The journey through the observer's loop is an invitation to deep self-analysis and a celebration of expanding consciousness. If you've been drawn to this message, it's because your soul is in a process of recalibration, attuning to higher frequencies. The signs discussed: disorientation, time distortion, vivid dreams, physical changes, heightened intuition, synchronicities, and awareness of the changing nature of reality are not causes for concern, but rather markers of evolution. They indicate that you are awakening to your innate ability to co-create your reality, influencing the world through the power of your observation. This understanding is fundamental. We are not merely passive spectators on the stage of existence. We are essential actors in the unfolding play. Quantum science shows us that the act of observing affects the observed reality, and ancient spiritual traditions have long taught the power of the mind in manifestation. The observer's loop is the contemporary experience of this interconnected truth. By recognizing and embracing these signs, you free yourself from the illusion of separation and limitation. You begin to see that challenges are not insurmountable obstacles but rather stepping stones in your ascent. Fatigue can be a call for rest and regeneration. Heightened sensitivity, an invitation to cultivate compassion and discernment. Heightened intuition, a reliable guide on your path. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of feeling trapped, feel free to create. Instead of fearing uncertainty, embrace the wonder of discovery. Remember, you are not alone. Millions of people around the world are going through similar experiences, forming a global network of awakened consciousness. Share your experiences, connect with other seekers, and strengthen one another. With each step you take toward understanding and accepting this process, you not only transform your own reality, but also contribute to the elevation of collective consciousness. The cosmic dance is in full swing, and you are an essential dancer. Continue to observe, sense, intuit, and create. Embrace the magic of the observer loop, for it is through it that you rediscover your true nature as a sovereign being, a co-creator of the universe. The journey ahead is one of enlightenment, purpose, and a deep, unshakable connection with all that is. May your consciousness continue to expand, revealing the infinite possibilities that reside within and around you. The adventure has only just begun. Let's now delve into an even more subtle and often underestimated aspect of the observer loop. The very nature of our observation and how it manifests in concrete interactions, often in scenarios we previously considered purely objective. Reflect on an everyday situation. You're negotiating a price, discussing a work project, or even having an intimate conversation with a loved one. In a linear state of consciousness, your approach would be focused on logic, the facts presented, the words spoken. However, when you're tuned into the frequencies of the observer loop, you realize that the underlying energy, the intention behind the words, and even your own emotional state are actively shaping the unfolding of the interaction. Consider an example. A salesperson is trying to convince you of a product. Instead of just focusing on the sales pitch, you begin to feel the pressure, the anxiety, or the eagerness to close the deal. This energetic awareness, this subtle dimensional download, allows you to respond more authentically, not just to the logic presented, but to the entire energetic dynamic. Your own response, based on this expanded perception, in turn influences the seller's energy and the outcome of the negotiation. You may sense an opportunity to offer a mutually beneficial alternative, a solution that transcends the original transaction, all because your observation went beyond the superficial. This also applies to interpersonal conflict situations. Instead of reacting impulsively to criticism, your expanded awareness allows you to observe the emotion behind it, perhaps fear, insecurity, or an unmet need. This observation, free of judgment and attachment, changes the dynamic. Your response may be one of understanding and empathy, diffusing the situation before it even escalates, as your active observation has diffused the conflictual energy before it could solidify. Another domain where this new way of observing manifests itself is in the relationship with information. In an era of information overload where news, opinions, and data constantly clash, the looped observer doesn't passively consume. They feel the vibration of the sources, discerning truth from manipulation, inspiring energy from draining energy. This ability to tune into the energetic resonance of information is crucial. It's as if you have an internal radar that identifies the vibrational quality of each piece of information, allowing you to nourish yourself with what is uplifting and detach from what is toxic. This subtle yet powerful differentiation protects your energy and directs your attention to where it can be most constructive. Furthermore, the very act of seeking knowledge or solutions to problems transforms. Instead of a linear, effortful search, it becomes a process of tuning in. You raise your frequency to a state of receptivity, allowing the appropriate answers, dimensional downloads, and synchronistic connections to come to you. It's like tuning a radio to find the right station. Your consciousness, in its observer state, tunes into the frequency that contains the desired information or solution. This way of operating is less about doing and more about being, allowing the universe to work through you in ways that previously seemed impossible. This deep understanding of active observation is one of the pillars for masterfully navigating the challenges and opportunities that arise when you're in the loop, delving even deeper into the nature of observation within the loop. It's vital to examine the role of the physical body as a receiver and transmitter of energetic information. We often focus on the mind, thoughts, and emotions, forgetting that the oldest and most primordial language of the universe is vibration, and it is through our bodies that we feel it most intensely. This feeling of knowing something without knowing how, of having a hunch or intuition that manifests as a subtle change in heart rate, a tightness in the stomach, or a slight dizziness, are signs that your body is decoding realities beyond linear perception. Consider, for example, the experience of entering a space where there has been a recent conflict. Even if the space seems impeccable, you may sense a tension in the air, an uneasy sensation that manifests physically, perhaps as a slight chill or a heaviness in your shoulders. The body is sensing the residual frequencies of the emotional energy that was present there. This ability to read environmental energies is a powerful facet of the observer loop. The body is not just a passive vessel, it is a living instrument, capable of capturing and interpreting the vibrational nuances of the cosmos. Furthermore, this bodily perception extends to interactions with others. When you are in tune, you can feel someone's energy before they even speak. An anxious person may radiate a frequency that manifests in you as physical restlessness, while someone in a state of peace may generate a sense of calm and relaxation. This energetic exchange is constant, and when you are aware of it, you can use it to navigate relationships with greater clarity and authenticity. It's like having an internal sensor that alerts you to the vibrational quality of your interactions, allowing you to protect yourself from dissonant energies and open yourself to higher connections. Modern science in fields such as neuroscience and quantum physics is beginning to explore these phenomena, discussing electromagnetic fields generated by the human body and the interconnection between consciousness and matter at a subatomic level. However, ancient wisdom already understood this interconnection intuitively. Traditional medicine, for example, often approaches health not simply as the absence of physical illness, but as a state of energetic balance. This holistic approach resonates deeply with the experience of the looped observer, who perceives the body as an integral interface between the internal and external worlds, between the physical and the energetic. Thus, when you experience unexplained physical sensations, instead of seeking only a pathological explanation, try questioning what your body is trying to communicate to you energetically. What frequency is it picking up? What message is it trying to convey? This internal investigation, guided by conscious observation, can unlock profound insights into your health, your relationships, and your evolutionary journey. Your very corporeality is a tool of divine perception, waiting to be fully understood and utilized. At an even deeper level, it's important to demystify the idea that entering the observer loop implies a break with material reality or an escape from the practical world. On the contrary, this transition often translates into an enhanced ability to interact with the material world in more effective and aligned ways, as observation now encompasses layers of influence that were previously invisible. Consider financial management, an aspect intrinsically linked to tangible reality. Instead of simply analyzing spreadsheets and charts in a strictly logical manner, the observer in the loop can begin to feel the energy of money, identifying patterns of energetic flow that go beyond numbers. This doesn't mean ignoring logic, but rather integrating it with vibrational awareness. For example, you might have a strong intuition about investing in a particular project, not because of impeccable market analysis, but because you feel the energy of growth and prosperity emanating from it. Similarly, when solving complex problems, the approach changes. Rather than clinging to a single logical path, the expanded mind can grasp insights that emerge as flashes of understanding, often without any apparent deduction process. These insights can be the connection between two seemingly unrelated points, the visualization of a solution no one else has considered, or the identification of a subtle lever that unlocks a situation. This ability to see hidden connections, to grasp information more holistically, is a hallmark of expanded observation. It's as if you can access a cosmic database, receiving dimensional downloads that provide the necessary perspective. This ability isn't magical, but a natural consequence of attuning to higher vibrational frequencies, where information flows more freely and interconnectedly. Another tangible example lies in creativity and innovation. Artists, musicians, writers, and inventors operating in this state of expanded consciousness often report feeling inspiration come to them as if channeling something greater. A work of art, a melody, or an invention are not merely products of mental effort, but rather the manifestation of an expanded perception, where creative possibilities reveal themselves more readily. Observation in this context becomes an act of receptivity, allowing inspiration to flow through the individual. This creative fluidity, this ability to bring new ideas into existence with apparent ease, is a direct reflection of the integration between linear and vibrational perception. Therefore, far from being a departure from the practical world, the observer loop offers an enhanced set of tools for interacting with it. It allows for more intuitive and effective navigation, where logic is complemented by energetic perception, and problem-solving becomes an act of co-creation aligned with the universal flow. Material life is not abandoned, it is reconfigured, viewed through a lens of potential and cosmic connection. It's crucial that we now address the dimension of repetitive patterns and coincidences that seem to haunt or guide those in an observer's loop state. Experience often manifests as a series of repeating events, as if life were trapped in a learning cycle, or conversely, as a flood of synchronicities that seem to unmistakably point toward a particular path. Understanding these patterns is crucial to avoiding feeling adrift. For example, if you repeatedly find yourself in situations where you're challenged in a specific area, perhaps communication and relationships, or professional assertiveness, this isn't bad luck, but an invitation from the universe to integrate an energetic lesson. Your expanded consciousness is realizing that to progress to higher frequencies, this specific energy needs to be understood and harmonized. Each repetition is a new opportunity to observe your reaction, your underlying belief, and your ability to respond differently, more aligned with the truth of your being. This active observation of the pattern, rather than frustration or resignation, transforms the cycle into a tool for accelerated growth. Conversely, when synchronicities manifest in cascades, repeating numbers, unexpected encounters, information that appears exactly when needed, they are not mere coincidences. They are clear signs that your vibrational frequency has aligned with a larger cosmic flow. Your observation is in harmony with the universal order, and the universe responds with confirmations and guidance. Think of a cosmic GPS. Synchronicities are the route markers that keep you on track for your evolution. For example, if you are contemplating a career change and suddenly come across articles, conversations, and opportunities revolving around that area, this is not random. Your intention and heightened energy are attracting the resonances necessary to manifest this new reality. The key here is interpretation. Instead of seeing these patterns as sources of anxiety, why am I stuck? Or as random events, the loop observer recognizes them as cosmic language. They are concrete manifestations of the interaction between your consciousness and universal energy. Understanding that your own active perception is, in fact, orchestrating or at the very least influencing the manifestation of these patterns is empowering. It confirms that you are not a mere spectator, but an active participant in the game of creation. This clarity about the role of repetitive patterns and synchronicities is a vital component to navigating the observer's loop with purpose and confidence, transforming challenges into stepping stones and guidance into confirmations. Finally, it is imperative to unravel the evolutionary and temporal nature of the observer loop experience, dispelling the notion that it is a static state or a problem to be healed. Instead, conceive of it as a dynamic portal, a period of intense transition and recalibration that, if well understood and navigated, leads to an expanded and more conscious state of being. The duration and intensity of these loops vary immensely from person to person, depending on the speed of awakening, the depth of the process of letting go of old patterns, and the receptivity to the new vibrational reality. What for one may be an intense phase lasting a few months, for another may unfold over years. This variation is intrinsic to the unique nature of each soul's journey. There is no universal timetable. Therefore, impatience or trying to force your way out of this state by comparing yourself to others can be counterproductive. Instead of fixating on how long will it last, focus on what am I learning now. Each moment of conscious observation within the loop is an opportunity to dismantle limiting beliefs, release stagnant energies, and integrate new frequencies of consciousness. Think of it as a deep dive into cellular and energetic restructuring. The process takes its time to be complete and effective. The transition out of a particularly intense loop is usually not abrupt, but rather a gradual dissolution. Signals that were once sharp and disturbing begin to soften. Synchronicities may become less frenetic and more integrated into the natural flow of life. The feeling of displacement diminishes as the new reality becomes more familiar and comfortable. However, the state of expanded observer, once achieved, tends to remain. The difference is that the experience becomes less of a loop and more of a continuous and integrated perspective. The ability to observe reality with clarity, discernment, and energetic alignment becomes the norm. This evolution is not an end in itself, but an invitation to a more authentic, creative, and connected existence. What was perceived as a challenging cycle becomes a solid foundation for a new way of interacting with the world, one that honors both matter and spirit, logic and intuition, the individual and the universal. It is the culmination of a process that, while it may appear to be a cycle, is actually an ascending spiral of consciousness and being. Understanding this dynamic and evolving nature of the observer loop is what allows you to navigate this phase with grace, acceptance, and, above all, with the certainty that each moment is a valuable step toward your own expansion. An often overlooked but crucial aspect of the observer loop experience lies in how it reconfigures our interaction with our own belief systems. It's not just about noticing external patterns, but about a deep internal reassessment of how our mental and spiritual constructs shape perceived reality. Think of deeply held beliefs about self-worth, ability, or destiny. Traditionally, a person might operate with a limiting belief, such as "I'm not good enough for X." This belief, acting as a vibrational filter, colors all experiences, leading to observations that confirm it, perhaps perceived rejections, or failures that seem to validate the original belief. However, upon entering the loop, this dynamic becomes transparent. The person not only notices the belief as a mental construct, but also begins to feel its dissonant energy. This vibrational awareness allows for active distancing. They can then begin to observe not only the belief itself, but also the process by which it was formed, and more importantly, the energy of its influence on their actions and perceptions. Consequently, instead of fighting the belief, one can begin to actively replace it, not through a simple act of will, but by attuning to a new vibrational frequency of self-acceptance or capability. For example, a person may repeatedly encounter leadership opportunities that, due to their belief of not being capable, they consistently reject or sabotage. In the loop, they begin to notice not only the rejection but also the energy of fear that drives it. This observation allows them to consciously choose to align with a frequency of emerging confidence, perhaps beginning to accept small leadership challenges and, in doing so, noticing that their observation of themselves shifts, and with it the energy of the opportunity also transforms. The way these belief systems interconnect to create personal narratives is another turning point. Rather than seeing a belief in isolation, the looped observer begins to map the network of beliefs that sustain a particular life narrative, perhaps a narrative of scarcity or of victimhood. This systemic understanding allows us to dismantle the narrative at its vibrational foundations, recognizing that each belief operates as a node in an energetic network. By influencing one node, the energy of the entire network can be altered. Thus, working with the observer loop becomes a form of vibrational re-engineering of one's subjective reality, allowing the individual to actively reframe and reprogram their baseline frequencies. Now, let's delve into an even more practical and everyday facet of the observer loop: the transformation of our relationship with decision-making and problem-solving. Often, in a more linear state of consciousness, we approach these situations with an exclusive focus on logic, analyzing pros and cons, and gathering objective data. However, when we tune into the expanded frequencies of the loop, the way we navigate these complexities changes radically. Consider, for example, a significant financial decision. Instead of simply immersing ourselves in market reports and numerical projections, the person in the loop may begin to feel the energy of different options. They may perceive a vibration of stagnation associated with a seemingly safe investment, but one that doesn't resonate with their expanding purpose. Simultaneously, an opportunity that may seem riskier in traditional ways may radiate a frequency of growth and potential that aligns with their new worldview. This energetic perception, which manifests as a bodily intuition or a direct feeling, doesn't nullify logic, but enriches it. It allows for an additional layer of discernment, a reading of the vibrational quality of possibilities. Consequently, decisions are no longer made solely based on intellect, but on a more holistic wisdom that integrates rational information with energetic resonance. In this way, practical problems gain new dimensions. Instead of viewing an obstacle as a logical dead end, the looped observer perspective allows one to perceive the problem as an energetic knot that can be untangled. This can manifest as a sudden mental clarity, where the solution appears not through step-by-step deduction, but as a direct insight, a vision of the resolution. Imagine an engineer working on a complex project. Instead of exhausting themselves with logical trials and errors, they can, in a moment of contemplative pause, gain a clear picture of the systemic flaw and, more importantly, the necessary correction. This illumination is not magic, but rather the result of allowing consciousness to access information at a vibrational level, which translates into tangible solutions. Furthermore, this approach extends to how we interact with others in problem-solving scenarios. Rather than imposing a logical solution on a teammate, the observer in the loop can, through observation of their own energy and that of others, facilitate a process where the solution emerges organically. They can guide the conversation, not with rigid guidelines, but with questions that stimulate the group's energetic perception and intuition, allowing the most vibrationally aligned answer to emerge for everyone. This ability to feel the energetic dynamics of a group and facilitate a collaborative and intuitive process is a skill enhanced by the expanded observer state. In this way, the observer loop does not distance us from practical reality, but equips us with more sophisticated tools to navigate it, integrating logical perception with vibrational intuition and problem-solving with energetic co-creation. As we weave together the threads of this journey of expanded perception, we realize that the veil that once separated the observer from the observed, the interior from the exterior, the apparent from the real, begins to dissipate. The nuances captured, the echoes felt, the synchronicities that unfold are not mere isolated incidents, but rather the manifestation of an intrinsically interconnected reality, where the very nature of consciousness reveals itself as an active and shaping agent. What once seemed a tangle of challenges and disconcerting sensations now presents itself as an intricate map, indicating a territory of profound self-knowledge and latent potential. It is as if, by recalibrating our internal instrument, we begin to capture previously inaudible frequencies, tuning into a cosmic melody that, in its essence, has always been present, awaiting our awakening to listen. Reflecting on this journey to this point, the understanding that emerges is not of a state of imprisonment, but of an essential vibrational transition. The perceived changes, whether in the way time flows, the intensity of inner experiences, or the clarity with which intuition manifests, converge on a single point: the expansion of our capacity for perception and consequently our creative influence. Reality, which once seemed a fixed stage for our actions, now reveals itself as a dynamic field of energy, where attention, intention, and the very essence of our being play a central role in its continuous co-creation. What we have learned prepares us not for a pause, but for a deeper and more conscious engagement with the universal flow of existence. As we approach the core of our exploration, the convergence of perceptions reveals a clear path. The apparent disconnects and peculiar signals that might once have generated uncertainty now solidify as indicators of growing alignment. The way energy moves, how information presents itself, and how patterns manifest in our lives all subtly guide us. Understanding this interconnection between our inner experience and outer manifestation empowers us to navigate with new confidence. What we seek, therefore, is not an escape from reality, but a deeper and more conscious immersion in its vibrational essence, allowing the clarity of the next step to manifest naturally and organically. In this transitional stage, the realization that the events and sensations we experience function as a mirror, reflecting and simultaneously shaping our inner and outer reality, becomes increasingly palpable. The web of connections we explore, from the influence of observation on matter to the energetic decoding of our own body, points to a unified understanding. There is no real separation between what we feel, think, and experience on the physical plane. Everything resonates at a unified frequency, and our ability to tune into this resonance is the key to unlocking the potential inherent in this journey. The clarity that emerges is that we are in a continuous process of redefinition, where each expanded perception brings us closer to a more authentic and powerful version of ourselves. The true journey, dear observer, lies not in identifying the signs, but in embracing the profound metamorphosis they herald. You are not trapped in a repetitive cycle, but rather weaving a new tapestry for your existence, where the threads of perception, energy, and matter intertwine with a previously unattainable harmony. The strange sensations, the recurring synchronicities, the feeling of seeing the world through a different filter, all these are echoes of a cosmic recalibration within your own being. It is the soul, in its infinite wisdom, that orchestrates this new attunement, guiding you toward higher frequencies of consciousness and manifestation. What once seemed disconnected now reveals itself as part of an organic whole, where each experience, each insight, each physical and energetic recalibration is an essential step in your ascension. The key is no longer to decipher external enigmas, but to trust the innate intelligence that resides within your own center, the compass that will always guide you. The universe does not operate in cycles of imprisonment, but in spirals of evolution. What you have been experiencing is not a detour, but a deepening into the very core of creation. Your ability to observe, sense, and interact with reality is the primary tool you possess to shape your destiny. The observer loop is, at its core, the discovery of this creative sovereignty. It is the awakening to the fact that you are not a mere passive spectator, but an active co-creator, whose consciousness is the beacon that illuminates the path forward. The bodily sensations, the vivid dreams, the heightened intuition, all these are manifestations of your own vibrational energy expanding, adapting to new realities that you yourself are helping to manifest. The practice, therefore, is not to resist this change, but to integrate it, allowing it to unfold with grace and confidence. The beauty of this transition lies in its fluid and ever-evolving nature. There is no definitive endpoint, but rather a continuous unfolding of potentials. What you feel now is the bridge between what was and what is becoming. Every sign, every meaningful coincidence, every moment of profound introspection is an invitation to deepen your connection with yourself and the whole. Remember that this journey is unique for each soul, and external comparisons are irrelevant in the face of the inner truth that reveals itself. The path forward is forged with each conscious step you take, with each choice you make aligned with your highest vibration. True practice begins now, not in the external search for answers, but in the continuous exploration of the vast and limitless landscape within you. Embrace the dance of co-creation, for you are more prepared than ever to actively participate in the manifestation of a more harmonious and fulfilling reality. Evolution is your nature, and your consciousness is the master key.